Fired for illuminating her blind daughter, the incredible truth revealed after 30 days of silence. In the heart of Maplewood, whispers flowed faster than the summer breeze. Sarah Thompson, a single mother, faced the storm of her life. Days after being fired from the local diner, the headlines blared her story. Fired for illuminating her blind daughter, they said, the sensationalism taking flight. Everyone had something to say. Sarah buried her face in her hands, the weight of the news hitting her like a freight train. She could hear the neighbors' hushed voices through the thin walls of her modest home. They once praised her for her dedication, her unwavering love for Lily, but now she was the subject of their gossip, the desperate mother who dared to prioritize her daughter's needs over her job. Lily, her 8-year-old daughter, radiated joy despite her blindness. "Mom, read me the stars," she would say, her tiny fingers reaching out, grasping the space where constellations would dance in the night sky. Sarah smiled through her tears, her love for Lily blinding her to the burdens that crowded their lives. "You're a star, my sweet girl," she would reply, her voice thick with certainty. Yet, inside, she felt like she was slowly dimming, struggling to stay afloat as bills piled up, each one a reminder of her reality. The diner had been their lifeline, the one place that offered a semblance of stability. Now, the thought of eviction loomed like a dark cloud. It gnawed at her. In the depths of despair, Joe appeared, a gentle war veteran with calloused hands and a heart filled with understanding. He started helping around the house, fixing things that had long been broken. Little moments of laughter seeped through the crevices of Sarah's anguish. "Your daughter, she has something else," he said one day, a soft smirk on his face. Sarah felt hope flickering in the darkness. But as the days turned into weeks, the shadows grew, creeping in around her. Voices of concern turned to whispers of doubt among her neighbors. The woman they once admired, now a source of morbid curiosity. "I wonder what she did," someone said at the community center, filling the air with judgment and speculation. Sarah clenched her fists, battling her own sense of worth as she fought to piece their lives back together. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. In a moment of desperation, Sarah accepted a job at the local factory, hoping for consistency. But the harsh reality hit hard: the endless hours, the ruthless conditions draining her spirit. As the clock ticked on, she felt herself breaking, a mother trying to juggle a million responsibilities, crying silent tears each night. Just as she thought she could not go on, her neighbors shocked her. They organized a gathering not only to raise funds but to shed light on the struggles she faced. It was a pivotal moment, a chance to transform her story from one of shame to a testament of resilience. As she revitalized her spirit, ready to confront her old boss, she held on to the hope that things could change. Would they stand by her, or retreat into their own fears? The gathering approached, each heartbeat a reminder that this was for Lily, for the future. With fire in her soul, Sarah prepared to fight, eager to transform pain into purpose. Would she rise, or would she collapse under the weight of doubt? The answers danced just out of reach, waiting to unfold. The evening of the gathering arrived, a warm summer night that hummed with untold stories. Sarah stood in front of her modest home, an unexpected tide of emotions washing over her. The neighbors were gathering at the community park, a space once filled with laughter and carefree summer days. Now, it felt like a stage for an unwarranted show, her life dissected for all to see. She wore an old but clean dress, one that hugged her frame with familiar comfort. It wasn't much to wear, but it carried memories of happier days, the moments spent laughing in the sunshine with Lily. As Sarah walked toward the park, uncertainty laced her steps. What if the whispers turned to jeers? What if she didn't belong anymore? But the moment she stepped into the park, a warm wave embraced her. The chatter hushed for a heartbeat when she arrived. Faces she recognized turned toward her, some warm with encouragement, others shadowed with uncertainty. A few shy smiles broke through the tension, like sunlight after a storm. In the center, a makeshift stage was adorned with simple decorations and streamers, colorful yet humble. It reminded Sarah of the school projects she used to help Lily with, the little creations born from love and splashes of creativity. She took a deep breath, her heart pounding louder than the murmur of the crowd. "Thank you for coming." A familiar voice called from the stage. It was Margaret, her old colleague from the diner. The woman emanated a warmth that drew everyone in. "Tonight is about standing together, about love and support for our neighbor, Sarah." Applause broke out, a small wave spreading and washing over Sarah like a soft blanket. It was unexpected and powerful. As each speaker shared stories of Sarah's generosity, the townsfolk began to reflect on her struggle. The words turned from judgment to understanding, painting her not as a desperate mother, but as a fierce protector. The machine of gossip that had once churned out negativity began to falter against kindness and gratitude. At that moment, Lily turned to Sarah, her small hands slipping into her mother's. "Are they talking about you, Mom?" she asked, her innocent brow wrinkling with curiosity. "Are they telling them how you taught me how to dream, even in the dark?" Sarah knelt down, every ounce of burden lifting from her shoulders. "They are, sweetheart. They're talking about how brave you are." Tears prickled her eyes. She felt a strange combination of pride and relief. Just as the atmosphere turned electric with positive energy, Sarah felt a stirring inside her. It was hope rekindled, a fire ignited by the very people who had doubted her. Would this night mark a turning point? Could she reclaim her dignity in front of everyone who had whispered behind closed doors? "Now Sarah will share her story," Margaret announced, stepping back and gesturing for Sarah to move forward. The crowd rustled with anticipation. Feeling the air thick with expectation, she climbed onto the stage. The faces staring back at her blended into a sea of hope and vulnerability. With a lump in her throat, she began. "Thank you for being here, for caring. I am not just a mother who lost a job. I am a mother who has fought to shine light into my daughter's life." Just as she began to pour out her heart, a figure emerged from the crowd, her old boss, Tom, flanked by 2 other diner employees. He looked uncertain, a mix of regret and defiance playing across his features. The murmurs returned, rising in volume, cutting through her speech like a knife. Sarah's breath caught. What could he want? Would he bring the shadows back into her light? As he stepped forward, all eyes turned to him. Her heart raced in her chest. What would happen next? Would she be able to turn this moment into a victory, or would it bring her crashing back down? Tom cleared his throat, his gaze locking onto Sarah with an intensity that silenced the crowd. The whispers faded into an uneasy stillness, as if every breath taken by the townsfolk hung in the air, waiting for the truth to spill out. "I know I haven't been the best boss, and I know I haven't supported you the way I should have," he started, his voice shaky yet earnest. "When everything went down at the diner, Sarah felt a mix of emotions whirl inside her. Regret? Anger? But mostly, confusion. Why was Tom here now, so many weeks later? The hurt from his dismissal hung like a weight between them, heavy and suffocating. "I thought firing you was right for business," he continued, his hands trembling slightly. "You were so dedicated even when everything happened, and I didn't see the hard work behind all of it. I just saw the numbers." He paused, the regret in his eyes deepening. "But without you, the place hasn't been the same." The crowd began to murmur again, but Sarah held her ground. She had fought long enough for her dignity, and now she needed to understand what was unfolding before her. "So, Tom, is this your apology? Is that why you're here?" Her words cut through the tension, raw and unfiltered. Tom flinched but nodded. "Yes, it is. I was wrong to let you go. I get that now. Not just on a business level, but personally. You stepped up every single day. You were the heart of that diner." His confession hit her in waves. A part of her wanted to scream. Another wanted to lose herself in the comfort of understanding. Had he finally recognized the value she brought not just as an employee, but as a person? I know this might not change anything, but I'd like to make it right, he said, his voice tremoring. I want to offer you your job back if you want it. I'm hoping that you'll give me another chance to work together. A shocked silence washed over the crowd, and Sarah's heart thundered in her chest. She thought of Lily, how fiercely she wanted to show her daughter what resilience looked like. But could she possibly work alongside the man who had turned his back on her so abruptly? Lily squeezed Sarah's hand tighter, her face a mix of confusion and trust. Mom, is it okay? She whispered, her wide eyes pleading. You deserve to be happy. Sarah inhaled sharply, feeling the weight of the world settle on her shoulders yet again. Tom wasn't he the only one who had made mistakes, so had she for allowing the setback to define her. But could forgiveness light the way? The crowd shifted, anticipation filling the space with a palpable energy. All eyes were on Sarah, waiting for her answer. The night had already shifted from despair to hope, and this moment could seal that transformation or break it again. Tom, she started hesitantly, each word like a stone dropping into a deep well. I appreciate your words, but I need to think. This isn't just about a job to me. It's about rebuilding everything we lost. As murmurs filled the air again, she glanced at Lily, who looked back with unwavering faith. Somewhere inside, hope flickered anew, tangled with uncertainty. Would she take the chance and let the shadows of the past drift away? Or would the weight of betrayal anchor her in the past? Her heart raced as she weighed her choices, the moment stretching into a lifetime of possibilities. What was she willing to fight for? And more importantly, what would her decision mean for the lives of those who depended on her? As she stood there, looking out at the sea of faces that had once been strangers, she realized something profound. This wasn't just about her past but her future. And with that realization came a new question that danced in the air, as powerful as the night. How far would she go to reclaim her light? Sarah took a breath, feeling the weight of it all crash down around her. Tom's invitation hung in the air like a heavy fog, and she could sense the crowd leaning in closer, hungry for her answer. The world around her faded. It was just her, Tom, and the memories of everything that had transpired. She thought about the late nights at the diner, the laughter shared over greasy plates, and the dreams she once had of running that place one day. I want to believe you, Tom, she said softly, her mind racing. But this isn't just about a job. You took away my sense of purpose. I felt invisible after you let me go, like nothing I did mattered. Tom's expression twisted with guilt. I can't change the past, but I want to show you that I've learned from it, he said, desperation creeping into his voice. I miss having you there. The team misses you. Things have been hard without your spirit, your kindness. I need you back. Her mind flashed to Lily's sweet face. Could she return to a place where the memories felt both comforting and painful? She had poured her heart into that diner, juggling shifts while caring for her daughter. The thought of reclaiming that part of herself felt both thrilling and terrifying. I know it's a big ask, Tom continued, his voice steadying. But I see you now, not just an employee, but someone who deserves respect. I'm asking for a chance to rebuild this together. The murmurs from the crowd surged. This was not just a personal moment anymore. For them, it represented something deeper, a quest for redemption, healing, a wish for second chances. Sarah glanced at the faces of the townsfolk, questions written across each one. Could they see her as more than just the one who had been fired? Mom, you're so strong, Lily whispered, drawing Sarah's attention back to her. The little girl's unwavering faith flooded Sarah with warmth, and in that moment, a flicker of hope ignited in her heart. I need to think, she repeated, her voice quiet but firm. After everything, I need to figure out if I can really forgive you and trust you again. Tom nodded, trying to hide his disappointment, but his eyes betrayed him. I understand, he said, but please don't take too long. There's a lot at stake, and I'll understand whatever choice you make. As she stepped back, the crowd shifted, whispering among themselves as hope wrapped tightly around her like a shroud. She was both relieved and anxious, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She needed time, but did she even have that luxury? Everything felt so fragile, the tentative truce they had struck, the potential for restoration. The question loomed over her like a storm cloud. What if this was her opportunity to take control again? To show Lily that strength came from forgiveness, not just resilience? But was she ready? Would she risk the chance of getting hurt again? In that moment, Sarah felt like she was teetering on the edge. Every possible outcome seemed to hang in the balance, waiting for her decision. It was exhilarating, terrifying, and she knew she couldn't keep this uncertainty bottled inside for long. "Will you come home?" Tom's quiet plea echoed in her mind. As she turned away, her heart warred with her mind. How would she choose? In that pregnant pause, a realization took root. The answer she sought wasn't just about Tom or the diner. It was about her, her family, and what she would do to embrace the light that still flickered, ready to be reignited. But where would that journey lead her in the end? What truths would she uncover within as she sought to reclaim her place in the world? The next few days unfolded in a blur of uncertainty. Sarah found herself tangled in her thoughts, pacing the modest living room while Lily played quietly in the corner with a bright yellow block set. Each clack of plastic echoed in her mind like a metronome counting down the hours until she had to make a decision. The prospect of returning to the diner consumed her, igniting both excitement and old wounds. Every time she put on the kettle for tea, she caught her reflection in the window, and a stranger stared back. Was that really her? A woman who felt so small and broken. It pained her to think of the dreams she shelved after losing her job. Those dreams brought a kind of warmth that could only come from the prospect of weaving hopes into reality. "Mommy, look! I built a tower!" Lily's voice pulled her from her reverie. The girl's small hands were proudly lifting a tower higher than her own head. Sarah's heart melted at that moment. Here was someone so full of joy, so unburdened by the scars of past failures. Seeing Lily's bright smile, glowing with pride, reminded her why she fought so hard every day, not just for herself but for her daughter. "Wow, that's amazing, Lily! It's so tall!" Sarah knelt beside her, pulling the child into an embrace. Maybe returning to the diner was not just about forgiveness. Maybe it could mean showing Lily that even when life seems overwhelming, we can pick ourselves up and try again. But doubt loomed like a dark shadow. Would she be just stepping back into the ring to be knocked down again? Tom's mistakes echoed louder than a siren in her heart, reminding her of betrayal and loss of purpose. She needed answers. She needed closure before moving forward. A flicker of resolve ignited within her. She needed to confront Tom again, and perhaps this time, she would not leave without the truth. Later that evening, she found herself standing outside the diner. The familiar glow of the neon sign felt both welcoming and intimidating. She hesitated, grasping the door handle. Memories flooded back: the laughter, the community, the warmth of late-night shifts. They wrapped around her heart like a passionate embrace, affirming everything she fought hard to keep alive within her. As she pushed the door open, the scent of coffee and fried food washed over her like a comforting tide. The light chatter felt loud against her renewed heartbeat. When Tom spotted her, a smile broke across his face, though the hint of nervousness lingered in his eyes. "Sarah," he breathed, coming to greet her. "Can we talk?" She nodded, suddenly aware of the small, crowded space around them. Everyone's eyes shifted from her to Tom and back. This was no longer just a personal journey. They were witnesses to something that felt monumental. Tom showed her to a quiet booth at the back, and a silence settled between them. Her heart raced as she sat down. Here was her chance, the moment she needed. It was now or never. "I'm not here to jump back into anything," she started, her voice trembling but steady. "But I need to know why. Why did you let me go? It felt like you didn't care." Tom glanced down, guilt etched on his features. "I did care," he finally managed, looking into her eyes. "I was scared. I didn't know how to handle things, and I thought losing you would be better than facing the truth of my mistakes." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. His words sliced through the air, raw and vulnerable. There was pain here, but perhaps even more there was hope, a flicker of understanding. "I want clarification, Tom. If we're going down this road, We need transparency. As she waited for him to respond, her heart thudded loudly in her chest. Would he open up, or would they just dance around the truth again? Suddenly, the tension thickened as a loud crash erupted from the kitchen. Dishes shattered, and the commotion sent employees scrambling. The small diner felt like it was on the brink, just like her emotions. Sarah's gaze flew to Tom. What was that? But would this lead to the answers she desperately sought, or would it distract them yet again from what lay beneath the surface? In that moment, she realized change was just as chaotic as the fray around her, and sometimes, you had to face the storm to find clarity. The commotion from the kitchen grew louder, a cacophony of voices and frantic footsteps. Sarah felt her pulse quicken, not just from the noise but from the weight of the moment. She shifted in her seat, her eyes darting back to Tom's anxious face. They're just busy, Tom said, trying to dismiss the chaos. But they both knew that this wasn't just about a broken plate. It felt like the fragility of their printed hopes was cracking too. I need you to be honest with me, Sarah urged, her voice firm despite the tremor inside. We can't just pretend like everything is okay because of all this noise. Tom swallowed hard, his expression flickering with uncertainty. The air was thick with past grievances and unspoken words, and she could tell he was battling himself just as she was battling her own fears. Before he could answer, a familiar figure burst through the swinging kitchen doors. It was James, the diner's cook and one of Sarah's oldest friends. His apron was stained with whatever he'd been whipping up, but a wide grin cracked his face. Sarah, you're back. Sort of, he laughed, oblivious to the weight in the air. He slapped Tom on the shoulder, cracking a joke about the shattered dishes. James, now's not the time, Sarah snapped, biting her lip. She regretted her sharpness as quickly as it came. This was her friend, someone who had stood by her through thick and thin. But her heart ached for clarity, and distractions felt like weights pulling her under. James caught the shift in atmosphere, his smile fading as he realized. Oh, sorry. It's fine, she cut him off gently, feeling a twinge of guilt for her reaction. It's complicated. Tom looked between them, confusion mingling with concern. I want to give you those answers, Sarah. I do. His voice was low and earnest, but she could see the storm clouds gathering in his eyes. As James excused himself back to the kitchen, Sarah sighed, knowing she had to push past the noise. What were you scared of? She asked, her heart racing. Losing me? Or facing the truth about yourself? He opened his mouth, the words hanging heavy in the air as if they were tangible. Would he finally lay bare the truth she yearned for? Would he embrace the anxiety and risk of honesty? Finally he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. I was terrified that I'd hurt you even more. I thought letting go would save you from my mistakes, from my mess. Your mess? She echoed, surprise flickering through her. How could he believe that walking away was saving her? You mean like the way you walked away from us? I needed you then, Tom. He looked down, shame washing over his features. You're right. I ran when I should have fought. And it killed me. The chatter around them faded, as if they were in a bubble, just two hearts trembling beneath the faint fluorescent lights of the diner. Sarah's breaths were shaky. It felt overwhelming, like staring down at the depths of the sea. But maybe, just maybe, she had to dive in. We can't heal if we're living in the past, she implored, her voice breaking. We need to face it together. Suddenly, the door swung open, and in walked a figure she hadn't expected to see. Angela, Tom's sister. She looked around as though searching for someone. Then her eyes landed on Sarah, and her expression shifted to something unreadable. Sarah? Angela hesitated, her voice low. I need to talk to you, about something important. Sarah's heart sank as she caught Tom's worried glance. What could Angela want? Did it concern Tom? Or was it another layer of their tangled past? In that instant, Sarah realized that her impending answers might come at a cost, one that could shift the ground beneath her feet completely. Now? She asked, feeling the weight of the moment intensify. Angela nodded, stepping closer, her gaze flickering between Sarah and Tom. Yes, now. It's urgent. The words hung in the air like a loaded gun. What truth was hidden in the silence? And would it bind them together or shatter everything all over again? Angela took a deep breath, her eyes darting between Sarah and Tom, tension hanging thick like fog. I didn't know how to approach this, but I felt like I couldn't wait any longer. Her voice trembled, almost breaking. Sarah felt the stirrings of anxiety twist like a knot in her stomach. Just tell me, Sarah urged, her heart hammering in her chest. She didn't need to read Angela's anxious expression to know something unsettling was coming. Angela hesitated, locking eyes with her brother, pleading for understanding. I heard things while you were away. Things I didn't want to believe. Tom's brows furrowed, confusion playing on his face. What things? You were hurting. Too much to even talk about it, Angela said, her voice gaining strength. But that's not what I mean. It's about Sarah. What happened after the accident? The word accident echoed in the diner, slicing through the noise. They had all felt the reverberations of that day, a crucial moment that shifted everything. Sarah's heart felt heavy. Angela, please, no more cryptic hints, Tom said, frustration spilling over. Angela swallowed hard. I think you need to tell her the truth about what I found out. The reason you walked away. Her words hung in the air, taut with unspoken pain. Sarah's breath itched, the weight of the past rushing back. Did Angela know something worse than she could imagine? What do you mean? What truth? Tom ran a hand through his hair, visibly rattled now. I didn't want to explain it all before. I thought it would shield you from everything. I thought I was protecting you. His voice faltered and cracked, a thin veneer of strength breaking. Angela pressed on. You need to stop thinking that your choices alone decide what's best for everyone else, Tom. Sarah deserves to know. Tom nodded slowly, his expression hardening. When I left, it wasn't about you, not really. It was about the mistakes I made long before, decisions that affected my entire family. Sarah felt the air shift, anticipation electrifying. What mistakes? Tom hesitated, searching for the right words as if they were hidden within a locked cavern in his mind. I didn't handle everything well, Sarah. There were things I should have said to you that I didn't. Things about our future that I ran from. And it all ties back to everything changing when you lost your sight. A silence fell over them, sharp and heavy. Sarah's mind raced. You're saying I was the reason you walked away? That's insane. No, he said hurriedly, struggling to make her understand. But I was drowning in my own shame, and I thought you deserved better than my failure. Is that what you really believe? Sarah's voice shook, wounded and raw. Why was everything so twisted? Angela stepped in closer, her voice softening. Tom is scared, Sarah. Scared that if he admits the truth, he'll lose you for good. Sarah turned to Tom, their eyes locking in a battle of understanding. But I need you to face it. I need you to fight for us. Running away was never the answer. His gaze shifted, vulnerability spilling out. I wish I had, but right now, you need to hear the full truth, not just my fears. I thought I was making it easier, but now we're just more confused, Sarah whispered, her heart racing with a blend of hope and dread. The chatter of the diner resumed, oblivious to their emotional unraveling. Do you really want to face this together? He asked, raw emotion behind his words. Because I'm terrified of losing you all over again. The diner dimmed around them, igniting memories that threatened to ignite a storm between all they had lost and all they might regain. We can't keep hiding. I won't let you leave my life again, Sarah said firmly, feelings cascading like an unyielding river. Just then, the kitchen door swung open once more, and another voice threaded through the air. A voice Sarah recognized all too well, the unmistakable tone of her mother. What's going on here? The moment shifted yet again, and Sarah felt another wave of emotions crash against her resolve. What did her mother want at this moment? With everything on the line and a myriad of tangled threads yet to unfurl, she felt the stakes climb even higher. Sarah's heart raced at the sound of her mother's voice. The familiar tone filled the diner, stirring a rush of memories, both good and troubling. She could feel Tom's anxious energy beside her, as if he was holding his breath, unsure of what was to come. "Mom, we're just talking," Sarah managed to say, her voice steadier than she felt. "Oh, really? It sounds a bit more than that." Her mother stepped closer, arms crossed, a protective stance that triggered an instinctive response in Sarah. She braced herself, unsure if her mother would sense the tension or if the moment could slip away unnoticed. "Is everything okay?" her mother asked, gaze narrowing, assessing the two of them. Tom opened his mouth, but Sarah interjected before he could speak, the need to protect him flaring up. "We were discussing the accident. The impact it had on us, on our relationship. You know how hard it's been." Her mother's expression softened for a moment, but it quickly shifted back to concern. "Honey, you need to focus on moving forward. Dwelling on the past won't help." "Mom," Sarah said, frustration bubbling. "Make it better? Just like that? You don't understand what it's like to feel abandoned when you need someone the most." Sarah Tom's voice broke through, and he reached out, fingers brushing against her hand. She glanced at him, the warmth of his touch steadying her. Angela watched, her eyes darting between them, her concern palpable. "Maybe we all need this moment, Mom. To understand the truth and each other better." "Truth?" her mother echoed, the word dripping with skepticism. "What truth?" It felt like a spark igniting the wound that had long simmered beneath the surface. Sarah turned back to Tom, energy crackling in the air between them. "Tell her, Tom. We can't hide anymore." He nodded, his eyes finding theirs, determination brewing deep within. "It's time to face this, and not just for us but for everyone involved." He inhaled deeply, as if summoning strength from somewhere deep inside. "All I did was run away when I should have been there for Sarah. I thought I was protecting her from my mistakes. But I realized now it was cowardice." The words spilled out, heavy and raw, like a storm finally breaking. Her mother's face strained of color, confusion morphing into anger. "Cowardice? How could you say that? You were supposed to be her support." "I wasn't," Tom countered, eyes locked onto her mother's, fury and sorrow entwined in his gaze. "I thought that walking away would help her heal. I see now how terribly wrong I was." A silence fell, punctuated only by the clinking of dishes and quiet murmurs of patrons around them. They were suspended in this moment, a fragile web connecting their past, present, and future. Sarah breathed in the tension, a blend of fear and hope swirling in her chest. "Everything changed when I lost my sight, but I never stopped needing you to be real with me. Don't you think I know that?" Tom's voice softened as he looked at her, his vulnerability spilling over once again. "I should have realized sooner that I needed to fight for you more than ever, not give up." Tears stung Sarah's eyes. "It took us this long to get here. Can we really move forward together?" The diner felt smaller now, the noise around them fading into the background. Her mother swallowed hard, the weight of the confrontation making her appear smaller somehow. "I still don't understand what you expect from me," her mother said weakly, almost a whisper. "Just be honest." Sarah shot back. "This affects all of us. We're not just your kids. We're hurting, and it's time you let us heal as a family." Angela watched in silence, her presence grounding them amidst the growing chaos of emotions. The bond of shared hurt bound them but also held the spark for resolve. Then, Sarah heard her mother subtle shift the sound of her breath, exhaling years of confusion and sorrow. "Okay," she finally said, tremors in her voice. "Okay, let us talk." As they prepared to unravel the hidden truths and unspoken feelings, the diner around them felt charged, as if the air itself was filled with possibility. But just as Sarah began to feel like they were finally moving toward resolution, the door swung open again. This time, it was a familiar face from the past, one that brought a chill through the warmth of the reunion. "Am I interrupting something?" the figure asked, a hint of familiarity piercing through the emotional haze. And in that moment, everything shifted. Sarah's heart plunged. Who had just walked back into their lives, and what could that mean for the fragile thread they were trying to weave together? The murmur in the diner faded into a heavy silence as Sarah turned to face the newcomer. Recognition flooded her, a face she hadn't expected to see, one that carried memories thick with unresolved feelings. It was Mark. Time had not muted the sharp edges of his presence. He still wore that signature half-smirk that often disarmed her. The brief moment of shock froze everyone. Tom tensed beside her, the weight of his hand resting on Sarah's like a grounding anchor. "What are you doing here?" Sarah managed, her voice barely above a whisper, laden with confusion and an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. Mark stepped in, glancing between them, the tension palpable and thick, like fog rolling in on a quiet night. "I didn't know you were here," he said, the usual bravado stripped from his voice. He looked at Tom, who stood on the brink of fury and disbelief. "I didn't mean to interrupt your moment." "Then why did you come?" Tom's voice cut through the air, a barrier of protectiveness surrounding Sarah. "I came to see how you were doing." "I was worried about you," Mark replied, looking directly at Sarah. His eyes searched hers, as if trying to unearth the answers behind her guarded expression. Worry? The word felt foreign coming from him. Sarah stepped back, processing his appearance. Why now, after all this time? The last months had been an emotional roller coaster, and suddenly, he was here, stirring everything up all over again. "You think you can just show up here?" Sarah felt her anger bubbling, hot and cold. It was chaos, strikes of all the past reeling back in waves. "You vanished when I needed you the most." "Sarah, please," Mark implored, stepping forward. "Please what?" She shot back, frustrations bubbling over, words she had stored away unleashing like a flood. "You can't just pop back into my life because it's convenient for you." Tom moved in front of her, his presence a shield, her protector. "She's been through enough trauma. You left her when she needed you most. You don't get to come back in with empty words." A flicker of pain crossed Mark's face, and Sarah felt a jolt of something unexpected, pity. But it quickly morphed into resentment. "Don't act like you care now," she said, her voice quivering. "You were gone. Ignoring me like I didn't exist." An awkward silence draped the air, thickening with every passing second. Mark shifted, running a hand through his hair, a habit she remembered well. "It was never about not caring. I was scared. I didn't know how to handle everything after the accident." The diner felt like it was closing in on them, rhythm of plates and chatter dulled to a distant echo as tension swirled. The world outside seemed to blur. It was just this confrontation that mattered. "You scared? After everything I faced?" Sarah's voice cracked, the ache of wounds still healing radiating off her words. "You didn't fight for me. You ran." "I know," he whispered, regret slipping from his lips. "Apologies won't mend what's been broken." Tom turned to face Sarah, his eyes softening. "You're not alone in this. I won't let you be." As their shared moment of strength hung between them, Mark stepped closer, earnestness flooding his features. "I'm back now. I want to make this right. I want to help." The words were heavy in the air, pulling at Sarah in conflicting directions. The hope for reconciliation gnawed at her heart, battling heavily with every memory of hurt. "Do you even know how long I waited for you to step up?" She shot back, voice fierce. "Everything changed when I lost my sight. I didn't just lose the light, I lost you too." Mark's brow furrowed, and regret ached in his eyes. "I've been a coward. But if you let me, I can prove I'm different now." As the intensity of their confrontation reached its peak, Sarah's heart pounded fiercely. The emotions were raw, their tangled threads still searching for resolution. Maybe I needed you to fail me so I could find my own strength." She paused, shaking her head. "But why are you really here, Mark? What do you want from me now?" Before he could answer, an unexpected buzz from her phone cut through the charged silence, igniting yet another wave of uncertainty. Who could it be now? Was it another memory threatening to upend her newly found resolve? Or was it something that could finally clarify this restless storm, an answer waiting just beyond reach? In that moment suspended between old ties and new beginnings, everything hung in the balance. What awaited Sarah when she looked down at the screen? The buzzing of Sarah's phone sliced through the tension, breaking the standoff. She hesitated, glancing down at the screen. The notification was from Lily's school. Her heart raced as she read the words. Important update. Lily's vision screening results. Mom? What is it? Lily's voice broke through the noise, innocent and sweet. Sarah's grip tightened around the phone. Just a message from school, sweetheart. But inside she knew this was about much more than grades or activities. It was about hope, about the future she had fought so hard to secure for Lily, and it was a reminder of the love that had fueled her journey all along. One glance at the faces around her told Sarah this was a pivotal moment. Tom stood with heightened anticipation, his expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. Even Mark's familiar smirk faded, replaced by an earnest face full of questions, like a dog waiting for its owner to throw a bone. I need to take this, Sarah said, her heart a riot of emotions. She turned slightly, putting a few steps between herself and the tumultuous exchange behind her, a move that felt both liberating and daunting. With trembling fingers, she opened the message. The text danced before her, and suddenly it all began to blur. As she read the results, heavy tears welled up in her eyes. It read, Lily shows remarkable potential and improvement in her vision. Immediate support and care can enhance her capabilities. A wave of joy flooded over her. Lily could see. Her daughter might have a chance to touch the stars, just as they had dreamed. It was a moment that filled Sarah with light, erasing the shadows of doubt that had loomed over her life for weeks. Mom! Lily's voice squeaked with excitement as she rushed forward, her small hands gripping Sarah's waist. What is it? Did I do good? I want to see all the colors. Yes, baby, yes, Sarah exclaimed, her voice breaking as she knelt down, holding Lily's face in her hands. You did something incredible. We're going to celebrate. Your future is even brighter than we thought. The emotion flooded between them, unconditional love, joy, and an unyielding connection that shimmered and glowed like the stars Lily often wished to touch. Behind them, the atmosphere shifted. Tom and Mark exchanged glances, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. It sounds like you've found your star, Tom said, his voice quiet yet strong. In that light, maybe we can all do better together. Mark stepped closer, hands raised in a gesture of understanding. Sarah, I'll do whatever it takes to support you and Lily. I want to be part of this journey now. But Sarah's heart felt whole for the first time in a long while. She had enough support around her, from the very community that she had fought so hard to reconnect with. Thank you, both of you, but I need to focus on my daughter and myself first. The crowd at the diner began to recognize the deeper emotional weight, murmurs of admiration flowing through them as they witnessed this transformation unfold. There was power in her declaration, a strength forged through pain and healing. I spent too many days casting my light onto others, Sarah continued, standing tall. I lost so much of myself in the process. But now, I see that my greatest success lies in raising Lily. No more shadows. No more fears. Everyone nodded, even her mother, who finally seemed to grasp the depth of Sarah's journey. With that, the community erupted into applause, and Sarah felt warmth wash over her, the kind that healed. She turned back to Lily, her heart brimming with pride. We can do anything together, my sweet girl. You are my light. As she held Lily close, surrounded by friends and an unexpected bond with Tom and Mark, a new chapter began to unfurl, one of strength, forgiveness, and love, and in that moment, everything felt right. Sarah realized that these newfound connections weren't going to erase the past, but they could light the path toward a brighter future. Let us go home, Sarah said, her smile radiant, her heart full. The world outside awaited their world, where every star was no longer just a dream, but a promise just beginning to shine. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that can inspire or uplift you. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm and help more people find their light. Comment below with your reactions, your feelings about this ending, what it meant to you, and how we can all rise together. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the light,